Okay, let's get this show rolling. So I asked you guys to come in a little earlier because we received a gift. And the gift says, Dear Jet Fresh friends, thank you for pleasing my ear holes throughout the year. Now allow me to please your face holes by filling them with full loads of holiday cheer. Wait, why am I... Okay. Wishing you all the best this holiday season. P.S. Sorry for the gift. I really just wanted to send the sweet corn as a gift from Indiana, but couldn't pass up the other flavors. Enjoy. And our mystery guest is Aaron.
Ah, you said Indiana. I gave it away.
So Aaron,
Happy holidays.
Aaron wanted to send.
Happy holidays, Aaron. How you doing?
All right, guys.
I'm good.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, we're ready.
She has sent us
a
pick six.
Yeah.
A pick six. But wait, this pick six, I'm just going to pick mine right now. Ready? Ryan?
She's choosing.
Mine is going to be sweet corn.
Sweet
Is this
corn
beer or soda?
Is it beer?
I think it's soda. Go ahead.
It's soda.
Okay.
Pick one.
Is it all soda or is there any of the beer? They look
No,
like,
it's all soda.
they look like beer.
Mommy would like the sweet corn
perfect.
soda.
This one's for Fern. This is Gross Gus's Pirate Piss.
Which one's yours?
I got Gross Gus's Dragon Drool.
Ooh.
I think Pirate Piss looks
Let's see,
a
Mike,
little
which
more
one are you
exciting
getting,
than
Mike?
Dragon Drool.
Pimple Pop.
Gross Gus's Pimple Pops. What's the flavor of Pimple Pop?
Here.
It's
Here
probably
you go.
salty.
Here,
Hold
open
on.
yours.
I love watching Dr. Pimple Pop.
Oh,
This is
it's-
black licorice soda.
It says marshmallow soda.
Oh,
The
which
Oh,
pirate
so
piss.
it's not even that bad.
I need
Yeah.
another Costa.
I don't even want to tell you the flavor. I just want
You
to.
want to open yours here?
Are we tasting it?
You're gonna
We
taste
totally
it,
gotta
of
taste
course.
this.
So the corn one might be the weirdest one,
There's two
honestly.
more.
The other one tastes
I
like
think
marshmallow.
Mommy would like the
Oh
corn
no!
one.
Wait.
The other two
If mommy will like the
are-
corn one,
No,
we'll
we're all
do
gonna
it.
try it.
The other one is dinosaur dung
Oh.
Perfect.
Great.
and bloody hose, bloody nose.
Bloody Nose looks delicious.
Bloody nose. Yeah, bloody nose is right up my alley.
We'll
Wild
leave.
cherry.
Okay.
Bloody nose.
Oh,
Well, you know, this
chocolate.
is
I
two
got banana
fat guys
soda.
talking.
Where
So
did
I
you-
had to send food or drink at least, you know.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Where did you
You're
find
welcome.
these?
Well, we have a store in Indianapolis that sells like crazy flavored sodas, but I just went online. It's called Soda Emporium. You can find them on Amazon, but I try to buy local, so I got it from that place.
So you don't personally know Gross Gus.
I don't. No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Dragon Drool. Cheers.
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 to
Pirate Piss.
dinosaur dung.
Cheers to Aaron coming through. I love it.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Okay.
Sláinte.
Pimple Pop.
All right. Wait. I'm gonna do this so I don't drink it all.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is banana soda.
Okay. This
It's
is
fantastic. I win. Pirate Piss for the
Mine
win.
tastes like
Oh crap! This is chocolate. It's straight up chocolate. It's really
Gosh
good.
dang it. I thought these were going to be bad, but they're good. But that's
they're
okay.
great.
Mine was black licorice flavored, so it wasn't that bad.
mine tastes like a Dr. Brown's vanilla kind of thing.
Oh wow, that's weird.
Actually, this is not far from a Dr. Pepper.
oh,
that's
let me
not
try
bad.
that one then. Oh,
That's not bad.
I'm going for the dragon drool.
Mimi, would you like my Pimple Pop?
I would love to taste your pimple.
I'm gonna jump in on
your pimple juice. Okay, dragon
that's
drool is
fantastic.
straight up Dr. Pepper. It's actually Mr.
It tastes-
Pibb.
it
It's
tastes like
Mr.
Miss
Pibb.
Pibb.
It's
That's
not
a
Dr.
good call.
Pepper. Yeah, Mr. Pibb.
Gave me gas.
Well,
right
you
away.
guys can enjoy those.
Thank
for your
you
whole
very
podcast.
much.
Keep you hydrated for the holiday season.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Aaron, we
Merry
love
Christmas.
you.
And I hope you guys get a bunch more gifts because you guys
Aw.
deserve it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, you
Thank
should be
you.
getting your gift, okay? So look out
Oh,
for your Jet Fresh
okay.
gift, okay?
All right.
Happy holidays.
Sounds good.
holidays.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you too. Be good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. I'm Fern. Today we got Mimi on the ones
Producer
and twos.
Mimi.
Mr. DJ Mimi. Ryan in house. He's back. Mike is in house. He's back. And our wonderful, eccentric, best dressed guest is none other than Mr. Jackie Lacey, AIFD, PFCI. You got a bunch of other letters. What else you got there, Jackie?
I have the AAF, CFD, and several that I just don't have room on the card to use.
Well, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, Jackie?
I'm good. Thanks, guys. It's so nice to be able to join you. I know it's been a while. We've talked about it, and it's great that we've finally been able to bring this to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're traveling all the time. We always see you at the shows. That's when we talk about it.
I just saw him in Holland. Like
There you
2
see,
weeks
that's what I'm
ago.
saying.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this at a convention at AIFD.
Mm-hmm. At symposium.
Right? It's pretty sad when we live fairly close to each other and see each other abroad or around the state more than we do in our own homes.
It's true.
It is
Mhm.
wild.
I run into more people in different countries than I do here.
And airports too.
In airports, yeah.
Did you guys see the new Pantone color of the year?
Uh-huh. Moose.
Mocha
Mocha
Mousse.
mousse.
Mocha Mousse.
Mocha mousse.
Mocha
I don't
Mousse.
know. I think we hit the lottery with that.
Yeah, well, that means at least 2 more years of nudes and earth tone.
No,
colors.
but the Choco VIP Roses is going to have
fall right in line.
some actual
Mm-hmm.
backup
Yep.
because Pantone says so.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I'm in a bunch of group chats with like the flower people, and somebody wrote, "Finally, now I remember how to spell moose because it's there." And I thought that was the best one. I was like, "That's true."
Is it 2
Well,
S's?
you've seen brown has been coming on for a couple of years, and it's been sort of on the edge, but it's nice to see that the mocha sort of brings it down. They said it's the flavors of coffee and chocolate sort of combined and what that does for all of us. So it's kind of cool to see.
Little warmth, right?
It's a good vibe.
I'm
I
excited.
like
I sent Mark Sasson an email this morning letting him know that this is our moment because we just rolled out with VIP Choco Roses out of Ecuador, and we're in the final stages of testing still. And we are in a really good position because if Pantone says so, people will accept
it
it.
must be no. It goes everywhere.
I'm-
Fashion,
I'm-
flowers.
I'm
everything.
curious, just Jackie, since you are one of the design gods, what would you relate? Like, what flower do you think of with mocha mousse? Like a lot of people were like,
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the gold tones, the earth tones, like we were talking about just a few minutes ago. But isn't it kind of interesting after everything we've gone through this last year that the hot color for next year is going to be poo? So one
Yeah,
of those
that's funny.
things that it
It's a sign of
seems
the
like
times.
it's going to continue for a bit. But, those brown tones fit really well in with greens. And when you start thinking about how popular scabiosa pods and lotus pods and things like
Mhm.
that are, it's kind of easy to see that mocha color is one of the things that's going to come on strong.
I think of those like the Lysianthus, those beautiful like dark browns.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think of all those nice ones. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see.
Definitely.
And it's crazy because the colors were so poppy before. Like we were going from such bright colors to like they put together Pantone a whole bunch of colors that go with this series, and they're all so muted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's beautiful, especially for fashion. Like Ryan, you saw
It
some
fits
of
into
it.
my I like.
How does it work? Like, how
Muted colors
does
works
Pantone choose these colors? Like, is there like a guy or a gal
It's a
who
group of
just does
people.
it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's a
it's-
group of different industries, like people that come in from the Pantone. Like they come in and they
They
decide.
work for Pantone, or they're
That's their whole business. Pantone is color.
Mhm.
That's their business. Like,
Well, and like she said, there's representatives from every association, housewares, fashion, that all get together and they study. Pantone's been doing Color of the Year for about 15, almost 20 years, I think now. And since it started, I think we've only had a muddy sort of color like this once before. It's usually a bright red, but if you look back in color history, when we study color, it tends to go from bright to a more muted color, and then it'll brighten up again, and then it'll change to something like this. But the last few years, Pantone has sort of been on the edge, doing their own thing and not paying much attention to what's going on in home decor. So they're sort of infusing another color in that wraps around what we're seeing and everything else. But just to kind of relate it, it starts in fashion, because we see it on the runways, then goes into furniture and fabrics, then moves over to home decor where we sit. So it kind of moves around the planet to circle back around to us. So it's kind of cool.
Interesting. Do you tailor any of your work or classes or anything like that to focus on the color of the year at all? Or do you kind of just have it in the back of your mind? You don't really pay much attention.
Well, you kind of do, and because those of us that are educators want to stay on top of what's going on, especially with color. And a lot of people don't understand, how are we going to infuse mocha? Because we don't have a ton of flowers that are that mocha color. How are we going to incorporate it into what we see in floral? But it will show up, and it has already been showing up in weddings, because as you mentioned a little while ago, all of those chocolate tones.
Recording in progress.
That have been going on.
So does Pantone get paid? Like, how do they make money?
Yeah, they sell stuff, and they also
what do they sell?
They sell the color swatches.
The color swatches,
how it all works together, and they're I would say probably close to $1 billion company.
Wow.
So like in Photoshop and stuff like that,
world.
You can select your different Pantone color swatch guide and things like that. So like
you can
if
go
you're
to
printing,
specific number
if you're like a print company or something like that, or a fabric or a fashion company, what you're seeing on the computer, you can match it with actual color swatches, and that's usually
absolutely. I mean, they've got a great app too that you can actually hold it up to a color, and it will tell you what those color numbers are, and then give you different colorways that it can be added in there. So they're a big business.
Like 10 years ago, I bought a little like a sensor thing that it was supposed to like you scan it and it's supposed to give you the Pantone color swatch and thing for it. It was really like early on, so it didn't work that well. But now they have it. It's supposedly really good.
Oh yeah, I have a book that you went and you would put and you'd have to like slide it to get the color right, or at least to get the match, and then so that's about 15 years. I'm a little way behind there, but yeah, Pantone is a American company.
You go to Home Depot and they have 1 million colors of paint on these little cards. Is that got something to do with the Pantone?
So yes, Bear or whatever company, they actually use Pantone colors, because if not, then they can't. They need to have the swatches. They need to have the formula that makes that color. So yes, they would probably, I'm not sure about that.
That way you can match the wall with the couch and it's the exact color and no one's getting sued.
So it's been 25 years that Pantone's been doing this now.
You always want to make sure that the carpet's matching the drapes, right? It's one of those important things that really helps everyone out there. It's that we had a rep that showed up for an AIFD convention like 10, 15 years ago. And she worked for one of the paint companies and was carrying this huge book and gave us all like 10, 12, 15 pages that just had colors. And she was like, what does this color say to you? And we didn't know. We thought it was a test. We gave it all back to her. And then we all asked, what are we doing? She said, you're doing my work for me, because I can't come up with all of these names for all these different paint colors. So it's funny that each of the paint companies will have someone that gives every color that they develop a name. So trying to come up with the hundreds of colors of white.
We hear it daily when people are like, is this a blush? Is this a pink? Is this it's constant.
Eggshell.
Mike, that's how you can get yellow snow to be a thing. You gotta work with the Pantone people. You gotta reach out to them. Tell them you got a perfect name for a color.
Well, it'll go well with the new poo palette.
There we go.
Well, the new Webster word that they added to the dictionary is brain rot. So I mean, that's I mean, we can totally.
Society.
How do you know that?
Society's going downhill, guys.
How do you know what they added to the dictionary?
It was the dictionary adds they add one word a year, and it's usually like
really?
Riz was last year's word. It's usually a word that's not
Riz
common.
Is in the dictionary.
This is in Webster's dictionary.
It's
in the slang dictionary.
Well, they add it to the actual dictionary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but they usually take a popular word that's been used throughout the year.
Is scooch in the dictionary?
I'll have to check it out.
No. You can reach out to them, too.
Scooch.
So, Jackie, now that you've given... This couldn't have worked out better, because now we have Jackie telling us about the color, but take us back. Tell us a little bit about your history.
Oh, well, remember, I'm old, so I've been around for quite a very long time. I tell everyone that a lot of people don't know, I have a degree in accounting. That's kind of where I started. I was working for Merrill Lynch, exciting company, right? um, approving or not approving retirement withdrawals. I mean, I was so bored, I was ready to slit my wrist with a spoon. I wanted out of there so badly. And a friend of mine who buys businesses, puts a little investment into it, turns it over for a little bit of profit, and usually has 5 or 10 going on at one time. Called me up one day and said, I just bought a business I think you would be great in. I was so bored. And he said, would you consider being a business partner? I said, sure. And then ask what the business was. And it happened to be that. So I sort of tell everyone I stepped into my passion, found out that I was really good at it, but I am so happy that I have that accounting background, because artists in general are not really good mathematicians. They don't work well with numbers. A lot of people get into business and then it sort of falls to the wayside. But I bought my first shop when I was around 21, my second at 23, and my third shop at 26 in 3 different states. Had really great business partners and just traveled around to each of those, but that's where all the gray hair comes from.
So what was the decision? How did that happen? How did you feel? What, did you just walk into the shop and you're like, all right, I'm home? Or what was, like the revelation that got you to this was your passion?
I so wish that then, because this was 40 years ago when this all happened. And we didn't have all of the great, recording technology that we have now. So I wish I'd had a cell phone back then that wasn't one of those really tall backpack kind of things that they were just starting to develop. But I walked into a shop that had been open for 37 years across the street from the largest funeral home in Knoxville, Tennessee, where it was challenging to sell a boutonniere for $4.99. And one of my first orders, the person we bought the shop from said, I'll give you 2 weeks and then I'm out of here or I'll kill you. So I thought I'd better go. I didn't want to die at that age. Yeah. So I got all I could in those 2 weeks. The first day I was by myself, someone called to order a funeral piece called Jesus Called. Now, I'm from New Jersey, and we don't call Jesus in Jersey. We have someone that does. So I was a bit confused, sent my partner out to buy the phone. Back then, if you don't know what that was, it was what we call a set piece. And it was a plastic phone with the receiver off the hook, turned upside down, all compacted with flowers all around it. And you put a banner on there, actually, that says Jesus Called. It was a bit morbid, I thought.
Oh, wow.
Because sometimes they would ask you to put a ribbon on there that said, and Mama answered.
Oh,
I was like, no, we just can't do that, right? So I sent my partner out to find this phone and came back with a Barbie compact telephone, push button telephone at that time. I'm like, no, it has to be a rotary dial or they won't get it. Now, if we said rotary dial, no one would know what the hell we were talking about.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
I have one here in the office.
I stepped into the deep end of the floral pool, and no, it wasn't immediately that I found my passion, but applying my knowledge of accounting and how to utilize that to have a successful business, the right markup and bringing in the background I had in marketing was one of the best things that kind of perpetuated me forward. But my first really big order was for 1,500 boutonnieres and corsages at Mother's Day for a large restaurant company. I hadn't called my family yet to say, hey, I want you to come see the flower shop. And I did. And I was like, you're going to help me with the project. Well, after that project, my family will no longer answer my phone call. They're like, forget it. I just found that applying what I was good at with numbers into what I just found was exciting, being able to see the smiles on people's faces. Even if we're working with sympathy, we're there to celebrate someone's life. We're there to help people that are grieving get beyond what, their heart is broken. So we want to do beautiful, bright colored flowers that will help them smile, remember the person that they've lost in a loving and caring way. So just being able to see how one thing we do, and we do a sympathy spray that goes out to a funeral for one person, one customer. but there might be 100, 200, 300 people that see that are affected by what we do.
Right.
And seeing that, being able to share that is what I still get that tingly, great, excited feeling when I open the cooler and see what the universe gives us to work with.
That's beautiful.
Love that. So you said 3 shops by the time you were how old?
26.
26 different states. That's impressive.
And were you hands-on in those shops, or more running in the business sense, or were you actually like designing and working and sweeping floors, kind of a little bit of everything?
Well, one of the smartest things that someone told me, my mentor, when I first started in business is what you don't do well, hire others to do, because it's worth what it costs. You need to do what you do well. And the one thing that I do well, and you guys know, you've seen me out at programs, is talk. I can talk to the wall about a banana. I've done it before, 10, 15 minutes talk about a banana. So, I've always been really comfortable meeting people, talking to people, being able to get the picture out of their mind into mind, and then convey to them what we can do within their budgets. So I took care of marketing, most of the weddings. I was sort of the face of the companies that I had, but I had great partners, usually couples, where the husband might do part of the accounting, and his wife or my other partner would handle getting things set up or running the back room. We sort of split everything up, because if you try to do everything, and that's what we see in today's market, where a lot of people have had to get rid of some of their employees, reduce their costs by reducing their staff, and step back behind the design table. And now they're trying to effectively run the business, do the marketing, do social media, make all the purchases, meet with all of the brides and events. And when you do something like that, each thing gets a little bit of your time, a little bit of your knowledge, but not everything. And it is just much smarter to have people around you that can take care of those things that you need them to.
When did we start teaching? When did we start taking, when did you join AIFD? Were you in AIFD at this time when you had these 3 shops?
Absolutely not. In fact, I'd had my shops for like 10 years and saw AIFD advertised in a magazine. And I called them up and I was like, who the hell are you? And why have I not heard of you? I've been in business for 10 years. You've got terrible marketing if you've not reached out to me. I really just gave them up and down the road. And it happened to be Tom Shaner, our former executive director. And he's like, dude, I don't like you already. So it was challenging right from the very beginning. But I mean, I jumped into the deep end of AIFD as well when I finally did understand what it was. And at my last shop, and I had shops in Knoxville, Tennessee, Austin, Texas, and Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, 3 vastly different markets.
Yeah.
Knoxville is a little bit more rural and beautiful countryside, but people in a more rural country setting. Where in Hilton Head, it was at that time the 3rd largest group of millionaires have vacation homes, 2nd, 3rd homes there. And I did about 25 weddings with budgets over $1 million in various places. Austin, Texas was, music industry and college town and everything that Texas has to offer. So vastly different. And that gave me a really good background in the industry of everything that we do and offer. And when someone reached out to me, hey, I think you've got a lot that you can share with others in the industry. And I did my first program, and it was like, that's what all I wanted to do was teach from that moment on. I love sharing with everyone and watching their light bulbs go off when we talk to them and helping them find their way to take their passion and be able to turn it into a career and a journey, so to speak. And at that time, I did 1 or 2 programs. And BloomNet reached out to me when they were just first starting. I think they'd only been in business for about a year. And it was sort of that, fresh in the market. And then the other 2 big boys didn't want any part to do. And all of my friends were like, dude, you're crazy. If you're going to go with them, you're going to ruin your career. And it's funny because I was with BloomNet for almost 19 years.
Wow.
And about year 13 or 14, some of those very people that told me I was crazy for doing it were calling me looking for jobs.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of follow your gut and understand what you're doing. But once I started educating for BloomNet, and at one point I was traveling almost 200 days a year for them, doing education. And I loved it so much that I sold all the shops, sold out to all of my partners, and went full time into education about 15 years ago.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that. You've been doing it. I thought you had the shops longer than that. That's amazing.
No, I had the shops about 15, almost 20 years.
Wow.
I did some educating and still had the shops crossover for a few years, but have been out of the retail industry as far as owning my own shop for about 15 years.
But you're still really involved in and ears to the ground, because you're doing something else now where you're kind of talking to a lot of retail shops too, right?
Right. I mean, I went back, when I left BloomNet earlier this year, it was so that I could go back to freelance and go back into the retail market, because I saw a trajectory with retail florists. The challenges they're facing today are unlike anything I ever challenged or faced before.
Yeah.
And if we don't all help each other make the industry stronger, we're all going to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt like for the last 10 or 12 years that I might be working. I mean, I tried to retire a little bit, but I've worked more since I semi-retired than I ever did before, I think.
Sure.
And I'm working in retail stores doing freelance and doing consulting now, and helping them make their own stores stronger with my marketing skills and social skills and design. So I feel like I can do more for the industry on the retail side now. And with educating, but I still am an educator at heart. You're still going to see me out there on stage and out and about at all the trade shows that I possibly can be.
And sales training too, right?
Absolutely, because it has to go hand in hand. And like I said, a lot of people, especially artists, they just want to make it beautiful. So put one more rose in there, or one more carnation. And long ago, we found when they did a study, if you put one extra carnation in every design you do in the course of the year, you will give away about $10,000.
Wow.
And we cannot afford to do that.
No.
So you have to be stronger. You have to be smarter. Yeah. I mean, and think about the cost of a carnation, which is about 3 times what it was when I first started. But, it adds up really quick, and you have to be smart about everything that you do. And again, I love being in the trenches and seeing the challenges that are coming in retail.
Can we talk about that, Jackie?
Yes,
can we talk about the challenges? Can we go down like the top 5 in your mind that are the retailers in the United States or wherever else are faced with challenges?
I would tell you that probably the number one phone call that I get from most shop owners and even wholesale are reaching out to me is, do you know anyone looking for a job? So the labor market right now is a huge challenge, finding skilled people, because what we're seeing is people will take an online class and, oh yeah, I've got my education in floristry. Yeah, that's great. Online knowledge is a great place to start, but you have to really be in there to be able to manipulate the flowers and move quickly through what your design need to be. Is something that if you have creativity, educators can help you manipulate that and increase that and change it. But if you're not a creative person, then you're a mechanical designer, and that's a whole different set of challenges. So you have to be able to clearly see which person you have in front of you, what their strengths are, what they can do. But I would say labor is probably the number one challenge that most people are facing in our industry.
Is that because of the generations that are looking for jobs now really don't want to work on holidays and weekends and things like that? Or
well, you've got that combined with a lot of people. Like, think about the number of people that grew up in the industry.
Yeah,
their grandparents, their parents owned a shop. They saw how much work that took.
Yeah.
want no part of
They
it.
don't want no part
So
of it.
then you add that to a generation that wants to come out of college or come out of that online course and have the corner office with the high salary and the title, but still have that, we've all heard it, work-life balance.
Mm.
You're a florist, man. You don't have work-life balance. It doesn't happen. No matter whether you're in wholesale, retail, or on the ground planting, from the growers, breeders, you have to be willing to commit to hours that a lot of people just don't want to commit to. So you've got all of that combined. And then, like I said, the second thing is cost. We've seen 30% increases across the board on almost everything. And we all know why. I mean, it's just, supply and what we went through health-wise a few years ago, and shipping and everything has gone up. So, that's one of the other challenges that we're seeing. And then when you get down into probably the top five, and I don't know whether it'd be three or four, those of us that have been in the industry for 30 or 40 years that want to retire, a lot of people didn't develop that exit plan, or their exit plan got changed over the last several years by the stock market. So now they maybe can't necessarily retire with a nest egg that they had, because they've had to reinvest a lot of that to be able to survive over the last few years. So you've got all of those compiling, and then the change in the market. And when I say change in the market, with today's industry, or today's generation, they want something that doesn't look like their mothers or their grandmothers, that looks like you just gathered it up and it all went exactly where it was supposed to. That's unrealistic. It doesn't happen. And they want that $150 design that only costs $95. So you've got the challenges of today's generation that work into that top five as well. So I think
yesterday
we're
I ordered
seeing...
a funeral. I ordered a funeral piece yesterday for a friend of mine's wake, and they asked you the question, how much do you want to spend? And I said $150. And she didn't get me much. It didn't really it didn't really get me much, and there was a time where it would.
And one of the things too is a lot of people don't know how to order flowers, and you're in the industry, so you probably are a little bit more versed at doing that than others. But if we give someone a little bit more room to be creative, and that's what I always encourage people when you're on the phone and talking to that consumer, remember, they don't know what to ask for. They don't know how to navigate pricing. So, and you want to be careful, because I hear it all the time when you call up a shop and, how much is a sympathy design? Well, our sympathy designs start at $75, $100, $125, and that might be a small little basket, not what you had in mind. Mm-hmm. But when they say that $75, $100 price, that's what they've sold already.
Yeah.
So you have to be smart in your marketing and know how to walk the customer through the sale. Because remember, when someone calls or comes in a flower shop, they're looking for flowers and someone to navigate them through the purchase.
Mm-hmm. Did you ask for specific flowers or size or anything?
I did ask for Dutch flowers or something bright, Gerber, daisies, sunflowers, tulips, freesias, things like that I asked for. They had some of it, but not all of it. It's in rural New York State, so there's not a lot of flowers accessible to people in a moment's notice. You kind of got to order the day before and things like that. But that's not the first one that I've sent. I've sent a bunch. I'm one of those people that is in the industry on the supply side, but I actually send a lot of flowers, using retailers. I don't, and I probably send 2-3 different kinds of things a month, and depends on where you're calling, but generally you don't get as much as you used to.
Mm-mm.
A lot of people are not stocking varieties like they used to. Yeah. They're afraid to make that purchase of
speculation is tough. Yeah, you got to pay for those flowers.
Scabiosa and if you get things, that are different and unusual, and you can get them in, kangaroo paw and protea and things like that. If they're not moving as fast as you would like, then you need to put them in a design, and you need to jump on social media and let people know that you have them, number one. Utilize them, show them, because if you're not going to sell it and get it out the door, at least be able to write off the cost for your marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
So you've got to use it, and we have to educate the consumer. People don't know what a pincushion protea is.
Right.
So we've got to show them, look how great this looks like with some of those garden flowers, to bring your design into today's style.
Right.
So you have to teach people how to be an educator, and they need to educate when the consumer or when someone calls them out.
Used to be when you sent a funeral piece, well, at least when I was growing up, it would be football mums and pom-poms, some roses, some gladiolas.
Some jade.
And
foliage.
jade all around the edges.
All around.
Yeah.
In the medallion shape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. On an easel.
Yeah. And
I call
the
that a
lilies, because
floral
lilies were, at least
manatee.
maybe that's local, like
Some
maybe that's
lilies,
a regional
maybe.
thing.
Yeah.
Lilies were big.
Yeah. So that's what
I love
comes
the
to
smell
mind
of
when you
lilies.
think funeral piece from.
Love it.
What do you think that would cost you?
I think they're not cheap either. I think it isn't the
No.
flowers
I think
it's so
it's-
much. I think it's the labor, it's the rent, it's
The
the
hardware.
delivery
it's the
vehicle,
It's
the
the everything.
driver.
Delivery. Yeah.
You know, 20 years ago,
It's-
you could buy a delivery van for under $10,000. Now you're going to buy a delivery van, you're looking at $35,000, $40,000, and the flower prices are selling pretty much at the same price they were selling 20 years ago. So it's difficult. The square foot for
It is.
rent is crazy.
I think also people for a long time were just using online prices. So they got so used to just looking at the price online, saying, okay, this is what I'm going to spend. And now I've seen more people calling in and saying, okay, I need to send flowers. I mean, this is just basic on what I've heard. And people are like shocked when they hear the price because they're used to seeing it online. When somebody says the price out loud, it's a little different than when you read it online. Like you can keep going to other websites, but you're already on the phone with this person. You're already committed to that price, So then
Yeah.
they try to like haggle you, And I think that's where the sales techniques have to come in. And you're basically playing defense the whole time.
Well, and you also have people like our wonderful meadow maven, Martha Stewart, that jumps online and she puts, 4 dozen pink lily of the valley and a beautiful bridal bouquet.
That's
With
impossible
no
to find.
cost on there.
We need
As
to,
if you can even get it for
Yeah.
less than $25 a stem.
after her documentary, I want to take a poll later on. I want to see how many people really like her because, man, it was bad, especially in our industry. Everybody has something with her.
I
She
told you
just
what
has
she used to make me do
amazing
when I was a kid, right?
expectations.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah. Jackie,
Yeah,
she used
she's
to she used to come to 28th Street to buy flowers when she was first starting out. She's coming to Chevy Suburban. I remember like it was yesterday. And my dad used to sell potted mum plants. And that's the only thing that she would buy from my dad was potted mum plants. But my dad would have assorted boxes. There'd be, 2 yellow, 2 white, 1 pink, 1 novelty inside the box. And she would want 100 white ones. And my dad would make me go down the basement and repack all the boxes to get her 100 white ones.
Martha, if you're listening,
Yeah,
you
Martha,
owe like some mums.
you never tipped me 1 cent. And then I would have to load it in her Suburban that only fit like 50 mums. I'd have to load 100 in there. Yeah. She never gave me a tip.
That's why the kids are so good at Tetris.
I remember this.
Well, we have a lot of, now we have a lot of influencers that are jumping on, and they're sort of taking over that spot that she created all the years ago. And
Yeah.
they're not, they decided you don't really need to know about mechanics. Floral mechanics don't matter. Well, then when their crap started falling apart and didn't stay together, they came back and they're like, we need you to teach us about mechanics so that we can keep it together. But they're still not adding in those costs, and it's all about the touchy, feely emotion. Get up in the morning and I just need a big hug from all of my flower friends today. You need to get your ass out there, get to work, get going and help the rest of us that have been doing it for 30 or 40 years keep the industry strong. I hope they're listening too.
Someone
That tough
passed
love.
Jackie the basket. He is preaching today.
It's true. It's true.
Well, it takes us all doing our bit of preaching.
It does.
So what about this new creative people that are not opening up flower shops, but they're opening up studios, and they're doing really like cool and unique flower designs, corporate work, and some weddings and some, dinner parties and all these other things. And you follow them on social media, and but they don't really have like a traditional retail flower setup. They have a studio, and they call it their studio. And it could be a storefront, but it could be a garage. Who knows what it is?
It could be, or it could even be a storage unit. I've seen some people working out of storage units.
But there's a lot of them, Jackie. There's a lot of them coming out.
A lot, and the thing that we're finding, I mean, the United States National Business Federation announced a few years ago that within the next 9 to 10 years, 40% of the retail florists that are currently open will be closed because competition is changing so drastically. And if you're
40%,
that's a huge
40%,
number.
man,
40%, and we're seeing it.
I just signed a 20-year lease.
But he just said because of competition. So either new are coming in or different like types of these
or they're being absorbed.
Designers. Mm-hmm.
And we see a lot of, some of the most successful chains are buying up some of their competitors, but we see people locking the door and just walking away, not too exhausted, too put out with it to even sell their business.
Right.
Their kids don't want it. Their grandkids want nothing to do with it. They're just done, and they just close their businesses. They won't sell to their competition because they don't want to help them. Yeah. So it's this battle that's going on within our industry of where we're truly fighting against each other than we are fighting for each other. So I don't mind artists that at least get the education, understand mechanics, look for your certification.
Yeah.
Join the rest of us in trying to make the industry stronger, because a lot of people can have a niche and stay within that niche. But you've got to be flexible enough to change with the market, meet those challenges that we are seeing come up and pop up all the time, and help other florists stay strong. Those are the ones that have successful business and are going crazy. I'm in a retail shop right now in little small town Georgia. I'm not going to say what, because I don't want anybody making calls, but a little small town that is seeing double, almost triple digit increases. I talked to someone in Nashville the other day that surpassed their sales from last year, the first day of November, and everything for November, December, which is a huge season, is just gravy on top of that. Someone in the DC area. But all of those shop owners support each other, go to all the trade shows, they go to AIFD and SAF, and they get the education, they go online, they stay on top of what's going on.
And they have these peer groups too that travel from shop to shop.
Absolutely.
And educate themselves on growers, or they're educating on how Miami works and how to buy out of Miami. It's a
different industry than it was 40 years ago.
Friend's enjoying his dragon's piss.
I know.
Sorry,
pirate piss. I know, I'm not supposed to.
Pirate
It's
piss.
delicious.
Too much of that. So pre-COVID, a lot of florists were getting out. They were on the bubble, and then all of a sudden their phones started to burn, and their orders the wire orders especially, they were just coming in crazy. And I feel like COVID almost saved a lot of florists or changed their minds. But now that COVID is gone, are you seeing that reverting back to
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not much different than what we're seeing now. Those that survived COVID were willing to adapt.
Yeah.
They stay on top of the changes and the challenges, and how do I keep my store open? By adding a drive-through window, or doing that curbside delivery, or doing that touch-free delivery, or
Are there
whatever.
many drive-through florist shops?
Absolutely. I was one in Ohio not too long ago, and I asked them, but I was there consulting for them, and I said, "What is this window over here?" And they said, "That's our drive-through window that we installed for COVID." And I said, "Why aren't you using it now?"
Right.
Because today's generation doesn't want to get out of the
They don't
car.
want to get out of the car.
100%. I like it. I like the idea.
That's
When I go to
they'll
Dunkin'
We need one of those in
Donuts-
our new spot.
When I go to Dunkin' Donuts,
No.
your mom
No.
says, "Oh, go to the drive-through." I'm like, "Hell no!" I park the car and I walk inside because it's 5 times faster than waiting at the drive-through. The line is so long.
The line is always long
depends
in
on
the
the line,
drive-thru,
yeah.
but
Raising
it's worth it.
Cane's,
Well,
Chick-fil-A.
You're seeing like even like smoke shops. You're seeing smoke shops now. Every city has a drive-through smoke
You've been
shop.
Happy Pappy's by the Hard Rock. It's a liquor store that's drive-through.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I love that logic there.
Right? But, you know, when I was young, like
Oh no, it's a
15,
fantastic
we
service.
even had a drive-through liquor store there.
Yeah.
So
You know, for
those
sure.
have been around for a little bit longer.
That's funny.
But if you're willing to adapt, and if you come up with ways that you can meet the market's demands and challenges, then you can have a strong business. But what I see consistently is people saying, "I don't have to change. My customers like what I do. I don't want to do that. I don't want." It's amazing how many florists will say, "I don't want to do weddings."
Right.
Really?
To the people.
Yeah,
doing it.
there's a
I mean,
lot
it's
of people
just
that don't want to do weddings.
a lot.
Really?
There's a lot of people that don't
Sometimes
want to
it's
do
Isn't that where the
holidays.
money's at?
No,
Isn't
they
that like
they don't do
where-
the holidays. They'll boycott, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. They're yeah. There's a lot of people that do that.
Wow.
And there's some people that don't want to do everyday sales. They
Right.
only want to do weddings.
Right.
They only kind of
Right.
going back to what your question was with people that are working from, their basement, their home. We used to call those basement Betties.
Basement bed,
But
yeah.
now it's a strong part of the industry. And you kind of have to give them kudos for finding a way to have some of them call it a side gig. I don't like that, because I think you have to be serious about it. If you're going to compete on a level with everyone, get the knowledge, get the certification, do what you need to do, and let's all help each other. But you have to be adaptable. You have to be looking for what's new, what's different. What can I do that brings people over here rather than driving down the street to the other
And you'll
flower
see a lot of these creative, like the ones that have those kind of studio kind of shops, or like, or they do a lot of their garages or whatever. They have 12 other businesses as well. They're doing all kinds of things creatively and opening all kinds of doors and trying to see where they fit.
This morning, I walked in and I saw a gentleman that I've been seeing frequently lately, and I said, "Hey, you're coming here often." He goes, "Yeah, good for you." And I said, "Yeah, well, good for you too, I guess." And he says, "Yeah." He says that he's a second-generation florist, just moved from New York to Miami, but has a full-time job, so he wakes up extra early. And he told me, he's like, "Mimi, I go to work I start my other job and I hate it." And he's like, "I will endure the traffic, the long hours, whatever it has to, because flowers bring me joy." Like, he's like, "I love this and I'm committed to making this my thing." And I was like, and I told Celine,
I want to meet that guy.
"You should meet him. He's a great guy." I mean, I told Celine, he's Celine's client, and I was looking for Celine to introduce them because he's just sharp guy. And he already bought one of the merch hats and everything. And like, I feel like I told him, I go, "Thank you for coming." And he has everything there. He has his business license. He's doing everything, but he's got the hustle. It's because he has the need to have those flowers in his life. He told me, he's like, yeah, he does a lot of, not a fun job. So he's really enjoys when he has the opportunity to be creative. I think that's beautiful.
It's awesome when they know what they really want is. A lot of people are stuck in that first position, that dead end job, when they don't really know what the jump is, and then you see these people coming from accounting and things like that. Once they find that passion, they dive all head first into it.
Yeah, we were talking about it because he saw the history on the wall, and he's like, "I'm from New York. I'm very familiar with 28th Street," and we were talking about that. He's really cool.
I had a client at my shop in Austin, which relates to a couple of things we were just talking about. I was right next door to a liquor store that had a drive-through window. Well, someone drove through the window.
There you go. Yep.
Into the building.
Yep. It's about our time.
A reason that maybe you want to be careful with the liquor store. With
They
windows,
didn't
but
need any more
so
liquor.
it shut the entire plaza down for a day until they could get the electric back on and that sort of thing. And I had a client that came in the day that we opened back up, and he said, dude, I want to tell you that for the first time in 52 years, I got in trouble on Friday because you weren't open and I couldn't buy my roses.
Oh,
I
man.
have bought my wife roses every week on Friday since we got married.
Wow.
And it has kept me out of trouble until Friday when I could get them from you and I didn't want to buy them somewhere else.
This is
But
nice.
I don't think that we share enough stories like that to promote the joy and the smiles that flowers do bring.
The mental health benefits. It's mental health.
Absolutely.
Fern would be
We
in
focus
trouble
on-
regardless if he brought flowers every week. He would still be in trouble.
I'm still in trouble. It doesn't matter. I
Well, that's
stay in
because
trouble.
we do that well, right? I mean, we're
So
the ones
easy to
that
get
are
in
gonna
trouble,
Get in
like,
trouble
it's
no matter
terrible.
what. But just promoting and making sure that we're sharing the good. The reason that many of us are even in the industry is because of the smiles and the joy that we get to bring, the product that we get to work with. Don't focus on the bad, focus on the positive, and that's the way to stay strong.
For sure.
Definitely. Do you have a preferred, since you've been educating for so long, now that you got a mixed online versus in-person, trade show versus in one-on-one in the studio or in the shops, do you have a preferred way to educate?
Well, in person is always going to be better because there are a lot of things that are really challenging to judge. Depth and mechanics are a little hard to judge online, and in person you can see those things.
Sure.
You can see the balance. So in person by far is my favorite, but I like a combination of all of those because people can't just always stop what they're doing and travel to where you are. So a lot of what I'm doing now is a combination of consulting online and then coming into their space one time for a couple of days. And that's more affordable than bringing me out to your place in Utah for a week to help you make some changes, because then you've got my flight and my daily fee. And
So, Jackie,
But you get the fit every time. The outfits are always on.
outfits
I
always
can't
on
imagine.
point.
Yeah.
I
And my
can't imagine
shoes,
him
don't
being.
forget, it's all about
yeah.
the shirts and the shoes.
Okay.
Shirts and
Okay.
shoes.
I was just like visualizing when you get into the shop, like you're like John Tapper from
I was
Bar
just
Rescue.
thinking that. I was
Like,
literally
you
just
go
going to
in
say
there and
that.
start yelling at people. Like,
I want to know, does that show exist? Has that been a thing before?
that should be a show.
Yeah,
With Florist
they
Rescue.
did have that.
I feel like
I
I've
think
heard
so.
that or
There
seen
you go,
that.
Jackie.
Yeah.
That's the
I-
idea.
I,
You need to start Florist Rescue Show.
Yeah.
I think it would be great. And or the other one that I've always wanted to do is the sitcom From the Back Room.
Oh yeah.
Because people share information with far more information than I need. They're placing their order, and we know when people are born, when they die, if they've got spouses and boyfriends or girlfriends, sometimes what their preference might be. And it is amazing how many times they give us far more details. It's the
What-
and then the florist.
What show
We're
could
the
you
ones
imagine
that-
as like a good example, like The Office style, or more like more of a scripted kind of a sitcom?
I think that if you took something like, and you may not even remember, Designing Women.
Oh, of
You
course.
the four people together, but take that and mix it with The Office,
Okay.
so that you've got sort of retail and comedy. Because I think that
We're gonna set up a meeting with you with Netflix next week.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this going.
We're gonna get a
I'll do
pitch.
it, man. I'll do it.
But
do
Jackie,
it in a minute.
you walk into a florist. You walk in. You've been doing it so long. You've been in 1,000 shops around the country, probably in other countries. You walk in and like right away you spot things that are wrong. Like, so what's your first order of business? Like, you sit down and you say, "Listen, I'm going to tell you shit you want to hear, but you're going to hear it anyway," or like, how do you?
No, he's
Like,
got to
how-
be nice.
You have to be honest, and
Yeah.
you have to make sure that before you get there that they understand. I'm coming in not to necessarily be your best friend, but to be your best advocate and a mentor to help you have a stronger business.
Right.
I don't like using the word better, but if you've got a stronger business, hopefully it is going to be better.
Yeah.
And I look for things that we put blinders on. Like, it's amazing how many people come in the back door of their business and they walk through, they unlock the front door, they go right back to the back room or they go back to their office. I encourage you to walk in the front of your business, no matter what business you have, walk in the front door as a consumer every day.
Yeah.
What do you see? Because it's amazing how even my own employees, when I had retail shops, I could have something on the right side of the store that I moved during the night to the left side of the store, and the employee walked right by and go, "Oh my gosh, I love that. Where did that come from?" It was on the other side of the freaking store, dude, and it has been there for 2 weeks. But I moved it because I wanted to make sure it was dusted and cleaned and ready to go out the door and incorporated into a more prominent area. But you have to do little things like that, and having a fresh set of eyes is no matter what it costs.
Yeah.
Because you will let things go. Some of the things that I'm doing here at the shop that I'm in right now are because the owner has let some things, go in one direction that we need help moving in a different direction. And having that consultant, that fresh set of eyes, is worth every penny.
Sure.
And it's not just because that's what I do, whether it's me or someone else. A consultant is a good way to help make your business stronger.
You definitely get settled in and used to things, and you don't look.
But there are some times that I want to just go like, "What the F are you doing? How can you let that happen?" Because I think that'd make great TV.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a bad experience where the person was like, "You need to go," or kicked you out, or anything like that, where they didn't like what you had to say?
No, and I've had a lot of people that said, "I hear what you're saying. I agree with you 100%, but I'm not going to do that."
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, okay, well, all I can do is share that this
right.
The network though is going to make you yell at them and be real mean. They're going to make you like
It'll make
drama.
great
I don't think
TV
Jackie
because you'll
could
be
do
so
that.
best dressed. It'll be awesome.
I feel like Jackie, you're like the executive producer, the head writer, all of that. But I can't picture him being like mean about it. Like maybe strategic, but not mean. Although he would be the best.
Yeah, because there are ways that you can even fire someone and have them thank you for it. It's all the way.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't see them. I can't say hi to them.
No, they didn't even come in. They just wait to the window. Where we at, Mimi?
Okay.
Time-wise?
Oh no, we are one.
So
time.
there's a funny story. My oldest son is a police officer, and
We have time.
he works with a young. He works with a female police officer, who's also a florist. So she comes in all the time. They're saying hi.
Sometimes in uniform, sometimes in not.
Yeah.
But she's beautiful.
So
she's also very. Mike's not like underselling how beautiful she is. Like
She's a model. She's a model too.
She commands the room when she walks in.
Yeah.
Especially in
So she's one of those people that has those 10 or 12
officer.
side gigs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
She also does calligraphy and she does classes
Yeah.
for calligraphy as well. So that's funny. Yeah, she
But
does.
that's the artistic side, right?
Yeah.
You keep going through different things, and then
Most creative
eventually
people I
you
know
find your
don't
niche.
just stick with one creative outlet. Yeah, they have many.
No, because then you stunt your creativity. Like you can't. You need to have other things that inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm sure in calligraphy.
Brian, what's your
and stuff.
next project? Where's my Nike watch?
Do what?
My Nike
clock?
Nike
What
clock.
are you on now?
I have since I've been back from Japan, I haven't really started anything. I've been kind of just catching up with work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
home, right? Yeah, I'm sure you have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't painted anything in like 2 years.
Look.
And that's a great way to release.
I'll be like the
Yeah.
Titanic.
With the traffic you put up with here, you need to get some paint.
Mm-hmm.
Stat.
Yeah. Paint goes
I
stale.
I majored in accounting and minored in art. And when I told them that I wanted to do that, they were like, "You can't do that because it's two different sides of the brain."
Too far
Completely
apart.
different. You'd have to take a lot of extra
Well,
classes,
actually,
I'm sure.
no. Accountants
I just
kind
took
of
a lot
get
of
a little
drugs. It was-
artistic with the numbers.
I
So-
have to say we've had a couple of people on the podcast that have an accounting background.
Yeah,
I want to say I want to go back and count them now because
I know
There's
Cam.
been a Cam.
yeah.
Trying to remember
My
who
accountant
else.
in New York was very artistic with the numbers.
I think it
Autistic
makes
or
you more.
artistic?
you need to be artistic when you're an accountant, especially for florists.
Yeah, exactly.
There are a lot of things we have to get creative
So,
with.
how
you
much
guys-
do you want to lose this month?
Did you guys see online they just
That's
had
right.
the Microsoft Excel World Championships?
Oh my gosh,
That's
I would
hilarious.
Oh,
die.
God.
It's super accountants doing that.
You get creative with Excel because I love changing the colors and putting all the different formulas. It's
yeah.
fun.
If you can do it fast, you can compete.
No, I can never compete. That would be the last place
I
I'm
can
competing.
work Excel. I'm just very slow. It takes some time.
I can
gotta
compete at
remember
yelling
how
at
to
kids.
do the formula. I'm like, fuck, how do I do that again?
I mean, that's
Sum
easy because now
equals-
it's now you have Google, so it's easy. Imagine back in the day when we didn't have Google and you
I don't
really
know how
had to.
anybody
I got an
survived.
A in that
Yes,
class.
I can.
Yeah,
Because you had a home set of
Yeah.
encyclopedias.
Yeah, I would
Right.
print
There are a
the cheat
lot of
sheet.
people that don't even know what an encyclopedia is.
Or having to go to the library
I
to research something.
I bought a
Right.
whole set of encyclopedias for my sons when we lived in New York, and I was on a payment plan. Like, it was expensive.
Yeah, my
They only
parents
gave
did
you
too.
A through J, right?
I don't know.
You know what? I
They
ain't
had
gonna
giant
do that.
books all over the place.
I forgot my parents used to when we would get in trouble, they would give us all of D. Now write it all, and that's why I had such good penmanship. Because if I got in trouble, I would have to write from the
I used to
encyclopedia.
get lines.
Wow.
I will
Yeah.
not.
Encyclopedia
blah, blah, blah.
Like Bart
Britannica.
Simpson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I used to
I
get
had like
lines.
50 books. Huge
And then
books.
you tape all the pens together so that you just go like this, and they all write at the same time. That's what I used to do.
I didn't get that creative. My hands were cramping. Too funny. Jackie.
Dude, just think of all the things that we have gone through, that we have seen just in your short lives. I'm probably older than all of you there, and that have come and gone, that have changed. And what are we going to see in the next 5 or 10 years?
Cursive.
Because we're
We have
eating through it.
our coworker.
Right.
They don't know how to write in cursive. Ryan,
They
was
don't
gonna
even
write
teach it in
something.
schools anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like
It's
that.
not.
I-
It's
they
called
don't-
script.
Not even
They
that.
don't teach script. They
they
don't
can't
teach
read it.
Geography.
So like half of the things that you
I didn't know what
design,
cursive
like,
No,
was.
Ryan wrote down something in cursive, and then we had Chai, CJ, and Joelle try to read it, and 2 of them were like completely lost.
yeah.
Because they only know about typing in the computers.
They know
don't
it. They know how to speak
They know how to
emoji.
Nobody
text.
writes.
They know how
They
to
know how to
text.
to speak emoji.
Yeah. I'm probably still the only person alive other than a lawyer that still uses legal pads.
Probably.
Classic yellow,
I
still color.
do like some legal pads.
I love my
agree
legal
with
pads.
Too funny. Jackie, what about a little bad of the industry that you've been going through? Maybe now or just through your life, give us a little bad.
Or the worst thing you've seen in a flower shop.
Wow. Now you're putting me on the spot. The worst thing that I've ever seen in the flower shop was a shop that had me come in to do work and then took me to the funeral home dumpster to pull flowers out to use for the.
Oh, no.
That's horrible.
Oh no.
Was it their flowers or is it somebody else's flowers?
Yeah.
That's
It was a little bit of both.
That's even
I think
worse.
Ew.
it was a little bit of both, some of their own and others that were there, but I just couldn't do it. I mean, it just
No, that's like stealing from the
part of
dead.
what was wrong.
Yeah.
Part of what's
Yeah.
wrong with the industry is not, you have to, there's a shelf life, and you have to respect that shelf life. And we're working with perishable products,
Mhm.
and if you're not providing fresh, quality products that are going to hold up, buying from reputable people such as yourselves, and know what you're getting, so that it goes to the consumer, lasts the amount of time. Because when people get bad flowers, what they say is, "I'm never buying flowers again."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not that I'm not going to buy them from that person.
Right.
They say, "I'm never buying flowers again." That hurts us all. So
Mhm.
that'd probably be the worst thing. that
That's
I've
where we
seen.
have to
But
get creative. That's
I'll
where-
tell you a fun story. That I was doing a wedding in Hilton Head Island, and I had met with the bride for about 6 or 7 months, and the bride's father called up and wanted flowers for the house. Set up a meeting. I got to the house. He was the only one that was there, and cornered me in one of the rooms, and I had to lock myself in the bathroom and call the bride and said, "Will you please call your dad and allow him to, or make him let me leave?"
What? Did you do the wedding?
Hold on.
Did you
Hold
do the
on,
wedding?
Like, was it cornered you like in
Yeah.
romance?
Yeah, not in a way that I was wanting to be cornered.
Oh.
I mean, just like
A,
that.
I was working with his daughter, and as soon as I called the bride and I said, I'm at your house, and she must have known things were happening. She said, "Is it my dad?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yes." And I walked
This
myself
wasn't
in
the
the
first
bathroom.
time
Oh
the
my
dad
God.
had done that. This wasn't his
Ah.
first. You weren't the first victim.
Right? And it was when I was first starting. So I was like 20 something and buff and just really wanted so badly to be out of there.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to lose the wedding either because it was a really big wedding.
But did you do the wedding?
I did do the wedding, but
Wow.
I didn't have to see the dad again until the day of the wedding.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was the only
We
way
needed his
that
credit card.
Yeah,
Hmm.
when it was time to pay,
Yeah.
that's the only time.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of wedding stories that could make it into that
That's
Netflix.
That's a book. That's a
That's
book.
hilarious.
Jackie, everybody's audiobook. It's an audiobook and you tell it because you have the perfect voice for it. I'll buy it. I love the dramas of weddings and
Yeah,
events. That's
for
like
sure.
the funniest thing ever.
Daddy, not
I
again.
actually have about 7 chapters. I have about 7
Perfect.
chapters.
Let's get them going.
Do you have a title in mind?
I do not because I did when I first started, but I've kind of like refocused a bit. I've thought that we needed something on the market on how to sell the perfect wedding.
Mhm.
And most companies want you to have at least 3 books in mind when you publish the first one. So my thought was how to sell the perfect wedding, how to buy the perfect wedding,
Hmm.
and the perfect photos from weddings to be a 3-book deal then. And I've got like I said, I've got about 7 chapters, and it's some comical and some common
When
sense.
I was gonna say, when those are done, you gotta sell the funny stories, the funny wedding floral stories. That's it.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
The weddings are one of those because it's a high expectation time as well as high tension, high stress. All of it is at the maximum when you're dealing with weddings. So there's a lot of great stories from that part of our industry.
I like it. I like the stories.
Mhm.
I'm just debating if it'd be like the Jackie effect or the Lacey effect. I don't know what sounds
Oh,
better.
the Lacey effect.
The
I like
Lacey
it. Lacey
effect.
effect.
There you go.
It's like that leather and lace thing.
Ah, there you go.
Got to have a little of each to make a
50
good
Shades
situation.
of Jackie over here.
No.
It'd be 50 Shades of Red.
There you go.
There you go. Too funny. Jackie, did we miss anything that you wanted to touch on? We got some questions, right?
Yeah.
No, not that I can think of. I mean, it's just been great talking and being able to chat and not being, just strictly focused on a certain thing. We're so fortunate to be in an industry that has so much to offer. I just want to see it be able to stay strong long after I decide to lay my big butt on the beach
Yeah.
and enjoy. And I was going to say, isn't this three fat guys talking, not 2?
Oh,
'Cause
please.
I have to include
Please.
myself in there, but I just want to see the industry go on because
Me too.
I sometimes would go and make deliveries myself just because one of the first things you see when you knock on the door and someone opens and they see flowers and they're like, flowers for me? Someone's sending me flowers? And seeing that joy and that smile is worth everything. Moment.
It's your
All of the
favorite.
stressful times, all the times getting locked in a bathroom and
Yeah.
the grubby father of the bride, or all the other challenges that
Too
they've got.
funny,
We're
God.
fortunate. We're really fortunate.
I love to give and send flowers. I do it all the time. I love it.
Did you ever?
Kudos to you, man. Keep doing it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yesterday I went to the doctor. As my routine, I always bring the doctor I always bring a box of flowers when I go to the doctor. There's a trick to it. You don't ever wait. If they know that you're here with the flowers, you do not wait. So part of it is so I can get in and out of the doctor's office pretty fast. And the other part is I just like seeing people who,
Yeah.
working in the doctor's office, that's not really a fun job. all day long. There's
And not dealing
running
with
from
happy
room to
people. At
room
least you're
and
bringing happiness.
scheduling. You listen to people complain
Yeah.
and people sick, and it's really. And then you open up the box of flowers, and everybody's like, "Oh man, these are great.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so yeah, yeah."
Let's, why
When
don't
are you
go to
coming
door
back?
number 2? Yeah.
When are you coming back? That's not good.
No, but I like that. Like yesterday, I brought a box of tulips. So there was like 15 bunches in the box. And then, I don't know, maybe 10 people working there. They're all grabbing. They're trading colors with each other. Oh, I want the
Aw.
yellow one. I want
That's
you know?
nice.
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of an event when you start to give flowers away to the hotel staff. They're
Yeah.
like coming out of the woodwork from all
Definitely.
over. Because people in the U.S. do not have flowers in their homes as much as people in Europe. I mean, one of the things that we studied when I was over and I saw you guys in Amsterdam was that about 70 to 80% of the homes in Europe have flowers on a weekly basis.
Every
In the
Friday. You
the
got to bring
United
them home.
States,
They have
Yep.
clippers.
Around
They have
15.
tools.
Got to do
Yeah.
it. It's a ritual.
Yep.
It's part of your upbringing since you're a kid. Yep.
But we have to teach it to that next generation so that it continues.
But let me tell you, when the show in Amsterdam was over, people were grabbing
Right.
armfuls of flowers and like literally running for the door. It's just
You had to kind of like stand back. and
Yeah,
get-
that was a
Right.
real.
It's funny because at the shows, you open the door to one person giving them flowers, and all of a sudden you have the whole crew come and ask for flowers, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, oh no, what did I
They
do?
all go. Someone's it's hilarious. I think it was it was SAF that was at
In the
Aventura
Turnberry?
in the
Yeah.
Turnberry. So I was in the parking garage and I'm leaving after one of the dinners and I'm getting to the car and the elevator is just full. And these guys are taking everything. You had one guy had a bucket of spider mums and another guy with a bucket of roses, and they were taking everything and anything they
Yeah.
could carry
I love that.
to their car.
This show was over at 7, I think. Let's use 7 as a number. At 6:58, people were waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like next,
Right.
like Rosa Moore, they had a
Absolutely.
really nice stand with a lot of sample. That place was torn apart.
And
Like,
I'll tell you, there's no classism when it comes to free roses or free flowers. Like there's
No,
not like
no.
that's it. Like
Old lady
No.
will
old lady,
push you out
rich,
the way.
rich people, poor people, it's
I like
all
it.
over. Everybody wants if you have free flowers, that's it.
Granny
Like,
will
yeah.
tackle you for that
I've gone
bucket
to-
of peonies.
I've
She
gone
is
to
not
some
messing
high
around.
end. I've gone to some high end weddings where I'm like, "Are you serious? They're stealing the arrangements." It's like it's always happens. I think that's the effect of flowers. It doesn't see any discrimination. Like it's like people just want them no matter what,
Yeah.
especially if they're free.
When we used to do the Wakefern ShopRite floral show, we did it for many, many years when I sold supermarkets. And there was like a conversation for the vendors. At the end of the show, all the flowers are going to hospice.
Yes.
Do not
I don't
do
care
anything
who
else.
asks you. I
That's-
don't
no,
care who.
that's-
They
and-
were
and I think-
serious
I think
about
and it was a
that's-
beautiful thing.
No, I
'cause
think
all
that's
those
beautiful.
flowers went to really good repurposing.
Yeah.
And
There was a bunch of people. I think it was on the Kelly Clarkson show. There was one, and also on Drew Barrymore this week. There were people who were talking about repurposing flowers from events and taking them
Yeah.
to hospitals or to nursing homes.
yeah.
Nursing homes are the ones that you see it the most. Like if you see
They
the
enjoy it
effect
so
that
much.
flowers
But at a
do.
supermarket show, there's thousands of
Oh,
bouquets.
for sure. More than
it's
anything,
Like nothing
yeah.
to be done.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
already
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So it's
It's easy. You just
That's
hand
perfect.
them
Yeah.
the bouquets, and the consumer bunches
Yeah.
are going.
and then the people who ran the show were the ones who actually went to the hospice and gave the flowers,
Yeah.
which is volunteered on their time. So I'm more for that than I am for the free for all grab
100%.
when the show's over.
100%.
There's a company out there called Random Acts of Flowers.
That's
that
the
does
one.
just
That's the one that was on
Yeah.
the Kelly Clarkson show. Or no, Drew
Yeah,
Barrymore.
they take the flowers from funerals, weddings, events, doesn't matter. Repurpose them, take them to VA hospitals, to hospitals in
That's
They
general.
were in Washington State, right? Or one of the up.
Well, I know they're in Knoxville, Tennessee, is where they
Okay.
started.
Okay.
Because the guy that started it he was a movie producer in the hospital. A horrible, horrible accident. Got tons and tons of flowers, and he asked if he could just start giving them away. And he went into one person's room to give the flowers away, and they started crying because they had no family, no one had come to visit,
Wow.
and they were just so touched. That's where the idea sprang from. I think they may have 3 or 4 locations around the country now, but
Yeah.
great company. I just wish we had more places like that
Yeah.
repurpose
Agreed.
flowers, because it would help perpetuate that joy and the feeling and joy that flowers bring to
It would
everyone.
get more people hooked on the flowers. for
Also,
sure.
yeah, a lot of
Absolutely.
people, a lot of people have. I've seen more of that trend of people like, offering that. What do you want after strike? What do you want with your flowers? Do you want me to take them home? A lot of people just want to walk away, and there are people who decide to, donate or pass it forward to somebody who can't. So I think that's cool. I mean,
Every time someone says Kelly Clarkson, I visualize the 40-year-old virgin. I don't know why that is.
I think of Ryan in his video waxing me
Yeah,
after
waxing
the
you.
oh
teams
boy,
sold the wax.
I always think about
I'm
that.
worried how often Fern thinks about that.
I know
that
it's,
memory.
he brings it up a lot.
brings it up
It's a
a
Ryan.
lot.
nightmare,
yeah.
Ryan.
I
It's a
watched it.
nightmare.
I watched it on
I've
the
never
plane.
seen anybody so happy.
I watched it on the plane coming back from Holland, and I just busted out laughing from that scene. And I think of you. When I see it, I think about you. But when I hear Kelly Clarkson, I think about the
Kelly
scene.
Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson. Yeah.
There's a story there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Too funny. Too funny. All right. Ryan's got some questions for you.
All right, we're going to end it on rapid fire questions. Just let us know what your first initial response are for these, okay?
Okay.
All right. What, in your opinion, is the best sandwich?
Philadelphia cheesesteak.
Nice. At the moment, what is your favorite flower?
Cymbidium orchid.
What is the
Pat's or
scariest-
Geno's?
Ooh.
I'm sorry?
Was it Pat's or Geno's when you said Philadelphia cheesesteak?
Geno's.
Cheesesteak, dude. As long as it's from Philadelphia.
Okay, don't matter for me.
I agree. Scariest animal?
Lion.
The most underrated flower?
Cymbidium orchid.
The most overrated flower?
Rose.
What is
Don't
your
hit me.
That's all right. What is your go-to way to relax?
The beach.
If you could have dinner with any celebrity or actor or famous person or
Or movie
historical
character.
person, who would that be?
Any person. I would say I would love to have dinner with Maya Angelou.
Beautiful.
Nice.
What is your go-to late night drunk food?
Chicken, because I pretty much just do chicken and turkey.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of like stay on that. But, a piece of fried chicken after you've been out drinking.
I've had that thought in my mind for the past few days about fried chicken. I don't know. It's just
that was a sign, Jake.
yeah. I've been thinking about it.
But what are you thinking of a specific place
yeah.
or just fried chicken in general?
Well, no, I just love fried chicken. I haven't had it since the last, I don't know, maybe a year ago because I ate it and I got kind of sick after,
Yeah.
so I didn't eat it.
Where'd
But
you eat it from?
We got it from the Cracker Barrel.
Ooh, Cracker Barrel's good.
Ooh,
Yeah, we got it from the Cracker
but it
Barrel.
has to be like fried green tomatoes. It has to have a good scald on it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to be fried just right.
yeah.
I love it.
Do you go more Jersey when you go accents or do you more country accents?
When I've had too much to drink, I'm going to slip into that northern accent. But I really, when I moved from New Jersey to Tennessee, at that time, there was a program on Gomer Pyle, at USC. It was about in the military.
Shazam, Shazam! I remember him.
Shazam!
So I would watch Gomer Pyle, and then
Pyle?
I would stand in front of the mirror and I'd talk like him because I felt like if I talked like I was from North Carolina,
Oh
people in
man,
Tennessee would be more accepting of me.
That's right.
what was the name of the sergeant in that show? Sergeant
Carter.
Carter.
That's right.
What kind of flowers do you want in your funeral?
I really don't care as long as there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I want to have a lot of flowers.
And they weren't
And I
dug
want
out from the
people-
dumpster.
I will share this, but in my will, I have set aside a certain amount of money because instead of a funeral, I want a party.
There we
So I
go.
want a lot of flowers at that party. I want people enjoying, because if they're drinking, they're going to remember me more kindly.
I love that.
You got a band or DJ or a famous singer at this party? If you can have your fans.
Any of the above. I'll be gone, so I really won't.
I love it.
Too funny, too funny. Jackie, if someone wants to reach out to you, maybe they want a little coaching and a little education, they want to make their business
Or
stronger.
Netflix.
They want to make, or Netflix is ready to put you on the big screen.
It doesn't have to be Netflix anymore. I noticed that all
Netflix
these
is the
guys
king.
have
Yeah.
their own shows.
Yeah, we can do
You know
any
who's
of them.
coming? You know who's coming
Apple
after them?
TV.
Is Prime. Prime TV is trying hard.
Apple TV, you got Paramount.
Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just all taking my money.
Max.
That's right. If it's someone wants to reach out to me, they can reach out to me at Jackie@theprofitableflorist.com, or they can reach out by JRL1@gmail.com.
JRL1@gmail.com.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode. Two fat guys talking flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. I'm Fern, here with Mimi, Ryan, Mike, our awesome guest, Jackie Lacey. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.